Hello?
Hello.
Hi!
Hi!
Hey.
Welcome to Pegasisters Live!
Well, thanks. How you guys doing?
Pretty
We're
good.
great. How are you doing?
Not bad.
Sweet.
Did you watch
Well,
the Super Bowl? Or, I don't know, if you're still watching?
I watched most of it. I don't even know if it's over yet. It was almost over when I left.
who are you cheering for?
I don't really care. Neither of them are my team, so it was a really good game, though, I gotta
Yeah,
say.
same here.
Yeah, I honestly, I voted for the Ravens just because Tara Strong said to.
Really?
Yeah, she put a
We
picture.
must listen to Tara Strong.
That's it. All my family members are, going for the other team. Well, I'm just gonna say yes to the Ravens because Tara Strong told me to.
There you go. It's as good a reason as any.
I agree.
Exactly.
But I kind of giggled. I wasn't really watching it, but, I, came upstairs when apparently, the lights stuff went out.
Oh, yes.
What was that about?
That was amazing. It was like a half an hour.
Oh my god. Yeah, wasn't there a scene where the microphones went out too or something?
Yeah, everything went out. Not the camera. Half the lights stayed on, the camera stayed on, but the microphones went out. Half the lights went out. It was amazing.
I just feel better about all the derps our stream has now.
Yeah, I know. That's exactly what I was when I sat there. I'm like, man, even the Super Bowl staff, they mess up.
Right.
Makes me feel better.
And I bet their budget is a lot bigger than yours.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
exactly. My little laptop here. Well worth the money. But yeah, so we wanted to ask you some questions.
We have some questions for you.
Is that alright?
Okay. Emily, would you like to start off?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so, in My Little Pony, what character do you enjoy writing for the most?
My favorite regular character is Rarity.
I love that.
I just love I love the characters who have, she's got a pretty good sized ego, but underneath it, she's got a lot of heart.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a lot of fun, and you can give her really fun dialogue, like the scene where in Ponyville Confidential, where she confronts Sweetie Belle about stealing her diary. She's so over the top and over dramatic about it, and that kind of dialogue is super fun to write. But she's saying it because she's hurt, there's real emotion behind it.
Mm-hmm.
So she's probably my favorite because you can really go over the top with her. But I really I've gotten to write some really fun villains too. The Flim Flam brothers were super fun because they're their whole goal is to confuse people, so they just talk really fast.
They actually made me very upset while I was watching with my sister.
They made you upset?
Yes, I didn't want them to win.
Oh yeah, I know. You would have thought it's a
Good.
triumphant moment when they're working together and suddenly they win. You're like, wait, what? Your heart just shatters. No.
Good. Mission accomplished.
Yeah, actually, that's my favorite episode.
Oh,
It is. That's Emily's favorite episode. She talks about it all the time.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That song is spectacularly fun to write. I love that song.
Oh my gosh, yes, that song is so catchy.
Daniel Ingram did such a good job with that. I couldn't believe it when the first time I saw it. I was like, oh man, this is awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Pretty sweet.
So yeah, Sondra, did you wanna?
Yeah, out of all the episodes you've written, I'm guessing that might be your favorite one, but what would your favorite episode have been?
Yeah, that one, and then that one just because of the song was super fun, and those guys are super fun.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like Applejack too.
Ooh, me too.
But that one or the Return of Harmony was pretty amazing too because it was a two-parter, and I had only done 3 episodes before that, so I was pretty excited. I was like, oh man, it's awesome. I get to do an hour-long episode. That's great. Yeah. And then it ended up being about this really super fun villain. And we got to go back and have Twilight remember read all the letters again and bring back in all the lessons she had learned over the course of the season. So that was really fun to write too.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that was a really touching moment too.
It's something you can do in a 2-parter it's not as easy to do in a 1-parter. You have so much more time to develop things and really get to that point where she's at her lowest moment. So I wish every episode was a 2-parter.
Yeah, don't we all?
I think we all might wish that.
Yeah, the 2-parters are always the best episodes.
It's hard to, especially in the first season when we had to we had to get all 6 in. Not every episode, but like as often as possible. We had to try to get all 6 characters in. And when you take out the commercials, you got 22 minutes to do it.
Mhm.
And that's really hard to do. 6 characters, to have them all have like a little bit of a story, or a little bit of something going on. It's not easy to do.
Yeah, I can imagine that. Oh my gosh.
So then in the second season, they kind of relaxed that a little bit, and we could focus more on like, Fluttershy or whatever. Still try to have the others in as much as possible, but it wasn't as important to get all 6 in. So
letting them have their own spotlight for a bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I really like that too. So when did you start writing for cartoons?
It was 2005. It was when I moved to LA. I was living in New York, and I was writing like independent features that would never get made. And my wife got a job in LA, so I came with her. We moved out here, and I didn't really know what I was going to do, but a buddy of mine lived out here already. He's an animator at Cartoon Network, and he heard they needed writers on the show that he was on. And I had written an animation thing for him that was just an independent thing.
Does that happen to be My Gym Partner's a Monkey?
Yes, that's the show he was on.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that was my first job.
I love that show.
Oh, that was a good show. Oh my gosh.
I didn't really know much about animation, but he told me, he's like, watch some SpongeBob and write a couple SpongeBob. So I wrote 2 SpongeBob spec scripts, just sort of like my own SpongeBobs. And I submitted them, and then they hired me based off of those. So that was my first job. And then from then, it was just sort of like, you sort of meet this person here, or you meet this guy, Chris Savino, who did is that right? Ghostbusters?
Ghostbusters?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was on My Gym Partner's a Monkey too, and recommended me to some people on Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, which is where I met Lauren.
Yeah.
That was kind of my second animation job, as I got to do an episode of that.
Ooh,
So
which episode
it is
did
just
you
kind of, it's called Race for Your Life, Mac and Blue.
Oh my god.
It was at the very end of the show, but the whole episode is Mac and Blue. They're like at the arcade, and they're getting really competitive, and they step outside.
Yeah.
And they're like, race you home. So the whole episode is just a race.
Such a cute show.
It was a great show. I really like that show. I wish I could have done more of them, but I didn't get on it until the very end.
Mhm.
It should come back.
Yeah.
I think we all agree on that.
Imaginary
We need to bring
Pony Friends.
There you go. Crossover.
Okay, so this actually, I've always wanted to know, do you enjoy, or just enjoy in general, adding secret adult humor to the episodes? If you're not the one who adds it, do you like the other ones that do? Because I love watching it over and over again just to catch the little silly things.
I think it's fun that people can do that. It's fun that there's hidden stuff in there, I was a lot worse about it when on My Gym Partner's a Monkey, I really tried to get away with things. Like really stuff I shouldn't have. I just thought that was what you do. And then you wait for standards and practices to tell you not to. By the time I was on My Little Pony, and it was like, okay, this show is not really that kind of show. It's not, it's so kind-hearted.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really want to put anything nasty. There's still adult references. There's like, a reference to an R-rated movie or something, but it wasn't not like nasty references. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
There's one reference that I've always wondered.
Which one?
And the episode of Party of One where Pinkie Pie goes, "What's in the bag?"
7?
Yes. Oh my god! Right. I've been bothering Emily since I saw that episode. And my mom. I forced my mom to watch it, and I was like, "Mom, they put all this humor in it. Like the punch has been spiked." And then she was like, "Yeah." Then they were referencing 7.
That's hilarious. I don't know. Megan McCarthy wrote that one. Now you'd have to ask her. Sure, sounds like.
Oh
definitely need to find that pink.
Oh my gosh! I'm glad we're not the only ones who caught that.
There's a lot of. I think all the writers really enjoy putting in stuff like that.
Yeah, it sounds fun.
Yeah, it is fun.
Sneaky spy work.
So, are there any other cartoons that kind of influenced your writing style?
SpongeBob was pretty big because honestly, before I started writing for My Gym Partner's a Monkey, I didn't really know much about animation. I mean, I watched stuff when I was a kid. I grew up on Bugs Bunny and Transformers and stuff like that. Like I watched as much animation as the next guy, but I was not really an aficionado. And I didn't really know much about the current state of animation when I started. I didn't really know what was on the air. I'd never seen SpongeBob before. And so I started watching it, and I was like, oh, my God, this is a great show. This is really funny, sophisticated, and, really good characters. Really, you just get the characters immediately.
Oh, yeah.
I found out that adults put funny little things in it, like with the episode where they cuss, but it's a dolphin noise.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I really thought a dolphin noise meant a bad word in their language.
So it was, I guess, not so much animation and more like, I grew up watching sitcoms.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I watched a lot of TV, but I didn't really know a whole lot about animation.
Well, if you watch a lot of TV, what is your favorite TV show at the moment? You don't have to say My Little Pony.
You're not obligated. It's all right.
My favorite TV show ever is it's called The Wire. It's on HBO.
I've heard of that. Yeah.
It's absolutely fantastic.
Fantastic! You sound like Doctor Who.
It's the opposite of My Little Pony. How about that? It's
Yeah.
really
Nice.
or dark, dramatic. I'm trying to think what else I watch. I watch a lot of really crappy TV.
It's okay. It's okay. Like, the only thing I watch is cartoons. And,
Really?
trying to, compare interests with other 19-year-olds, it's a little hard because I'm like, oh, I like Fairly Odd Parents and SpongeBob and My Little Pony. And they're like, oh,
And aren't you so excited for Powerpuff Girls?
Then my friends are like, oh, I like watching Scrubs.
But I thought there was a pretty big following at that age of animation. Is that not right?
There is if you find the right people.
Yeah,
Twitter helps.
Twitter helps.
Right. Oh,
Yeah,
Twitter's
like-
right.
At my workplace, there aren't very many animated, like, cartoon lovers.
Right. Do you find a lot of people who watch like Adult Swim and that kind of thing, or the Fox shows?
Yeah, basically. Yeah, like, someone at work, I was, like, quoting SpongeBob, like, dude, that's for, like, little kids. You need to grow up. And I just gave him an evil look.
Never. You
Give
can
an evil
never
look.
stop watching SpongeBob.
Never, yeah, I totally agree. It's really good. They're missing out.
Definitely.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, oh, dude, you're kind of lame.
It's like when you go on the beach, what else are you going to sing besides stepping on the beach? Doo-doo-doo-doo.
Well, I enjoy watching My Little Pony. I watch all the episodes, if they're not mine or whatever. I watch them all.
Oh,
I think it's
really?
really fun. Yeah.
Do you have
And like exactly what you were saying earlier about the references, I watched the, what the hell is it called? The one with Discord.
Oh,
And,
yeah?
Harmony? Or wait, what?
No, the recent one.
Oh, Keep Calm and Flutter On.
Yes. And Dave wrote it, and I was watching it, and there's a reference in there to like an old movie from like the 40s. And I got it. I was like, oh man, I know that line. So I tweeted him about it, and it's like it's fun. It's fun for me to see that stuff too. There's references in there that I pick up on. So
Yeah, that's really cool.
yeah, it's a
I
good
wish
show.
I wish I could pick up on them a little easier. I'm like, oh, wait, what? A little slow with that.
Okay,
But then someday you'll see that movie and you'll be like, oh my god, that's the My Little Pony line.
Yeah, you're like, wait, where? I heard this before. What?
Yeah,
this
exactly.
movie from the 40s stole this from My Little Pony.
Twilight said that.
I can confirm it with Tara Strong. Do you enjoy going to all the Brony conventions?
Yeah, it's super fun. I've only been to 2. I went to Midwestria in September, which was absolutely awesome. I mean, it was pretty small, but that was kind of great. It was like by the time the 2 or 3 days were over, you really knew everybody there. It was really cool. You got to see everybody, say hi to everybody, and the venue and the hotel was all one and the same. So everybody was kind of just in the same place. And then I went to a much bigger one, which was Equestria LA, which was also super fun.
Of course.
Yes, that's where we found you and started.
That's why I got to meet you guys. That's why it was so fun.
Okay, wait. Okay, so I have to ask now. Did you notice whenever Sondra stared at you?
Yeah, I first Emily was like, "Oh my god, it's M.A. Larson," and I was new to the fandom, so I'm looking for Emily Larson. So I'm looking for a girl, and I'm directly staring at you.
That's
she's
hilarious.
Like, no, it's M.A. Larson. I'm like, oh, I've been staring at him the whole time.
What, behind that guy? Oh, that's really funny. No, I did not notice.
Yeah, and there was like another point, like, and she did it a couple times. She would stop and she'd stare at you and do like an awkward wave, like, you're scaring him, stop.
That's really funny.
It was a lot of fun.
I met you guys because somebody, and I can't remember who, I took a picture of you guys when Amy Keating Rogers was signing for you.
Yes, Emily
and I
saw
tweeted
that.
it, and some guy was like, hey, that's so-and-so and so-and-so. And I was like, oh, wow. And then we met. It was really cool.
Oh yeah, and I said I was gonna find you and give you a hug.
Yes.
That was difficult.
That was
We found out you don't dance.
No,
Yeah,
that's true. That was super
fun.
fun. And then I'm going to go to the Vegas one. in a couple
Yeah,
of weeks.
I'm almost positive that we're gonna be there, so I'm
Good.
excited.
Cool.
Yeah, we're working on it, like getting over there. So
As of now, I'm only going to be there the first day. I'm trying to figure out a way to go for 2 days, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to.
that's alright, as long as you can go to one, you know.
Yeah, they're really fun though. I mean, I gotta say, it's sort of like, particularly at the interview, or not the interview, the what do you call it?
Panel?
The autograph things,
Oh, the autographs.
where people are kind of coming up and talking, and you kind of hear the story. I like asking people, how'd you get into this, and how did you discover this, and whatnot. And it's really amazing how a show about friendship has really created through, the internet, part of it, friendships. There's so many people I've spoken to who are like, I met all my friends through this show. And I think at Equestria LA, if I'm not mistaken, there was a marriage proposal, wasn't there?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Between two people who met because of the show.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's
it was so cute.
beautiful.
It's so cool. It's like you talk to people and you see how much the show means because it's brought people together. And it's like, wow, it's like not just a dumb cartoon. It's like actually did bring people together. It's really cool to see. And it's fun to talk to people and hear their stories about how they got into it.
Yeah, I feel like they should do what Rocky Horror Picture Show does and just have everyone dress up and sing in the theater.
Absolutely. That would be great. Like cut
Just
together
have
all the
cosplay.
songs.
Yeah.
Make a music video for it.
Maybe once the show is canceled, it'll keep on like in that vein.
Oh my god.
Midnight
neat.
showings at movie theaters and things.
That would make me really sad. Oh my goodness. No.
Okay, don't talk about the show canceling to Emily.
I'm like, oh jeez. Like, to be honest, when I found out about Alicorn, I thought that meant that the series was gonna be done after that. I'm like, oh
Right.
no. Oh, I'm like, well, I'm okay with the Alicorn thing. I just don't want them to end it. and then I was like venting to like my little sister about it. Like, I just don't know what to do if Ponies ended. Like, that's kind of sad. But
I can't talk about any of that stuff.
no, that's
We know.
Yeah.
They're not in the questions.
It's okay. But yeah, so did the fan base kind of take you by surprise?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, it took everybody, but I think it took the fan base by surprise. Yeah, completely. I mean, I've been writing for animation for something like 8 years now, and nobody. I mean, there is like nobody cares about who writes cartoons. Even the executives who work for the networks don't care who writes for the cartoons. Like nobody cares, and so to have a situation where there are people who watch it so closely and pick up the references. I think most shows I've written on, I put references in, but it's mostly just for my own entertainment because I don't even know if anybody's even watching it. You don't get any kind of feedback at all. And then all of a sudden you got this show and you're getting feedback all over the place. It's really cool. It's amazing. And like I said, to see that it actually creates genuine friendships for people like around the world.
Our chatty box is saying that they care.
Aw.
There you go.
We definitely care.
But it's definitely unique. I mean, I've written for a lot of shows and never had any kind of feedback from people watching it at all. So it's pretty shocking. It's surprising and it's cool. But it's weird too because the first time I ever heard about Bronies was it was the story meeting for, I think, I may be wrong about this, but I think it was Secret of My Access, or it might have been Super Speedy Cider Squeezy.
Oh yeah.
Because there's so long between when you write an episode and when it airs, And so I didn't even hear about you guys until I was over half done with season 2. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. I'm sure like right away you're like, what?
What is
yeah,
this?
yeah, exactly. Lauren showed me. Lauren was the first one who told me about you guys at the story meeting. She's like, here, you got to check this out. And she, sent me some links and things.
Oh,
The first one where I knew like, oh, wow, this is bigger than just like a little laugh it was pretty early on. She sent me a link to, it was like a Russian day camp. And all these dudes, like there's like 50 guys, teenage boys in the middle of the wilderness in Russia, and they're doing like arts and crafts and things. It's a really long video, but about 10 minutes into it, they kind of go around to these dudes with guitars, and they start singing Winter Wrap Up. So there's like 10, 15 of these guys in their like thick Russian accents, and then they know the words, and there's guys playing guitars, and it's like I was like, oh my god, they're singing Winter Wrap Up in Russia. This is huge. It's like way bigger than I thought.
that is like the coolest thing ever. Is that on YouTube?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll definitely have to link people to it.
Yeah, I gotta find that.
Look for it right now, and I'll send it to you.
Oh yeah, thanks.
But that was the first time where I was like, oh wow, this is big. And then yeah, on Twitter, like I get followers from Singapore and Australia and just like everywhere. It's crazy around the world.
So cool. Yeah, when I'm on Twitter, I get so confused because time zones.
Yeah,
they don't like the internet.
right. It's true.
Very true. But yeah, so do you have like a favorite main 6 pony, just in general?
I mean, my favorite to write is Rarity, but my favorite, just personality-wise, is probably Applejack.
Do you compare yourself mostly to Applejack?
What's that?
Do you compare yourself mostly to Applejack?
I don't. It's hard to say. She reminds me a lot of a friend of mine, who's just like such a good, solid person, and I just get that vibe off Applejack. She's just like such a good.
She's honest.
Yeah, like she's the one you want around.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They all have their attributes.
Do you have a favorite cutie mark crusader?
Interesting.
I know they're all cute, but you can't say all of them.
If I had to choose, I would probably say Apple Bloom.
That's who I cosplayed as.
Nice.
Yeah, Emily and I were Apple Bloom and Applejack at Equestria LA.
There you go.
Sunday, yeah.
That's
it was
awesome.
really neat, yeah. But
okay,
are you gonna give Scootaloo a family?
That's not up to me. You'd have to ask Megan about that.
Darn.
That's just sort of conceptual stuff. I don't even know.
I don't know where she comes from, though.
I don't either.
I think everyone. Yeah, I don't think
no one knows. Oh my gosh.
I think everyone's just kind of like, oh well, now Rainbow Dash is sort of like her big sister, so they're gonna kind of like make a lot of, you know what I mean, like put them together. I don't know. That's what I'm assuming.
It sure looks like it. And
Can
it makes
ponies
sense.
adopt other ponies?
I mean, it looks that way, doesn't it?
Yeah, it kind of does.
Well, that.
Okay. I'm tweeting it out right now. I found it.
Oh yay! Okay, sweet. So when you're writing an episode, how much creative freedom do you have?
Well, the way that the story meetings work, it's really just the best of both. It's the best scenario for a writer because you get direction, but you also get freedom. It's like perfect. So you go in and there's been a premise has been approved. So let me back up. At the beginning of the season, we have a writer's summit where we all get together, and like the first one I went to, I didn't go to the season 1 writer's summit because I don't even think there was one. I think it was just Amy and Lauren and Rob, who's the story editor. But the season 2 one, it was me, Charlotte Fullerton, Amy Keating-Rogers, Cindy Morrow, and Megan McCarthy, and then Rob and Lauren, and we just brainstormed. And Lauren would say, so we want to have this overarching thing, or we want to make sure we have a Spike episode, whatever it is. And then we just brainstorm. And then Lauren and Rob would write up these premises, which is about 2-3 sentences. of just the basic idea, which Hasbro will then approve or say, well, can you rewrite it and do this or whatever? And then you get your episode. So a lot of the episodes, I didn't have any say in what I was getting. Like the Discord one, I didn't, they just said, here's your episode. But I reread the premise actually not that long ago for that one, and it's like 3 sentences long. It's really short. And so you don't have a lot to go on. So I go in for the meeting. It's me, Lauren, and Rob. It's just the three of us. And we spend the whole day just deciding, okay, what's the story going to be about? Do we want to go this way? Which characters we want in it? And then you just kind of break down the major, there's 2 commercials. So right before each commercial, you want to have a little bit of like a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
So you just try to figure out what the major plot points are and then what the scenes are, and then you go home with these index cards. And then from there on, it's just I'd sit there and flesh it out and fill it in and put in dialogue, and then that outline gets approved. And then you write the script. So you get a lot of freedom once you've got the story in place. But I would say not many of my episodes really changed much from the story meeting on, because you have such a strong structure in place.
Mm-hmm.
When you leave Hasbro and you go home, everybody's agreed, here's what the story's going to be.
Okay.
So.
Okay. That's actually really cool. Like, neat. Because I was actually really curious about that, like, the other day. I'm like, well, do they, like, just say, okay, I'm going to write this episode and kind of make up their own thing and kind of go with it? Or do they all agree on it? So, yeah.
It's really the best. I've worked on all sorts of different kinds of shows.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is the best format, because you don't feel like you're being micromanaged with notes and things, but you also don't feel like you're kind of flying blind. You don't feel like you're just like, I don't know if I can do this.
Oh, yeah, that's the worst.
Yeah, you have some guidance, and you've sat there with Lauren and Rob, and you've tried different things, and they'll say, no, we're not going to do that, or yes, we'll try this, or, you just feel really confident when you leave with the story, and you know that the story is solid. So then you can just go kind of crazy with filling it in with characters and jokes and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's so cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've always wondered if it was difficult to write the little cliffhanger before the commercials, like on any show.
That's where you start, really.
Really?
You kind of start there and you work backwards,
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because you got to build up to that, so.
Well, now I know.
That is, like, so cool.
It was really hard with Cutie Mark Chronicles.
Uh-huh.
Because that's an episode where you're telling 6 backstories.
Oh,
yeah.
actually, we have a fan question about that.
Oh, cool.
It's in our fan question segment.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you mean later?
Yeah, it's after a few more questions. We're getting there.
Yeah, we're getting there. There we go.
Do you have any advice for aspiring writers?
Yeah, I mean, I have it, but I don't know how useful it is. My best advice would be, it's really not useful at all, but it was useful to me, which is own your own intellectual property. In other words,
Yeah.
When I got into it, I thought, this is great. I'll just be a writer, and this is how I'm going to make my living. It'll be great. But it's really difficult to make a living doing this.
Mm-hmm.
And every time you get a job, first of all, there's not a lot of staff jobs. Half the writing jobs in animation, including My Little Pony, are freelance, or maybe even more than half. So to get on a staff where you have a little bit of financial security, it's pretty rare. So you get an episode of something, and then you're just freaking out, like, oh man, what am I going to do next? Even if you get on a staff, you're thinking, okay, this season will be over in 6 months. What am I going to do after that? The whole time you're just scared about where's my next check going to come from. And it's really an uncomfortable way to live, just constantly in fear of like, where's the money going to come next?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And so if you can create your own show, create your own idea, come up with your own characters.
Dad always told me, because I'm a huge comic book fanatic, and he was like, just write your own. And I went to Comic-Con and I was like, yeah, I love comic books. And he was like, the best way to start? Make yourself into your own superhero.
That's a great idea.
I know, so
It is.
I'm going to start that pretty soon, but I mean...
It's the only way to go, because then you can, first of all, you can make money, so you don't have to be so scared all the time.
Yeah,
But-
I can
but-
think of another example, which would be Seth Rogen writing all of his movies
Yes.
and then getting the main parts of them because he wrote them.
Right. Absolutely. You can do it. I mean, you can make money working on other people's things, but it's scary and it's not as fulfilling. You know, you want to be able to control, here's what this is going to be like. I'm not saying it's not useful. It's really useful to work on other people's things and you learn how to do it. But eventually you want to own your own intellectual property, own your own show, you know, and then you can make some real money. And I know it's not all about money, but it really helps to not be freaked out all the time about money. So
Oh yeah.
That's really good advice, actually.
Yeah, you didn't think it was good advice. I think it's really nice.
that's it. Just come up with your own stuff and just keep going.
Be creative. If you're
Yes.
not, then
Choose a different career. No.
don't do. I don't know. Okay.
So-
Fan questions.
Oh,
Unless
yeah.
Emily's gonna read, because I think
yeah.
you answered some of our other questions in your questions.
Okay.
Oh, maybe we did.
Question
Yeah.
inception.
I
Yeah,
do
look at
ramble.
her. No, it's okay.
It's okay. We love when our guests ramble.
Fan questions. So, do you believe in M.A. Larson?
You believe in Emily Larson.
I'm
That was the
withholding
first
judgment.
question.
We'll have to see. I'm not convinced yet. We'll have to see.
I believe in M.A. Larson. Come on.
You
The A
believe.
stands
I love
for
that whole thing.
Alcorn.
It makes me laugh every time I see one of those buttons.
I love
think
it
it's
too. I
hilarious.
thought that was the best idea that
It's so
anyone in the
funny.
fandom's come up with. Oh, the whole chatty box yelling, I believe.
I believe.
You know what's
Yeah.
nice about it is like it could have been a really awful. I mean, it was just weird how the whole thing happened, and it could have been a really awful, couple of days. But I honestly think that with that button, it just kind of became lighthearted again. It became funny, and it became like, okay, we can laugh.
Yeah, I think it's really funny. I won one of the buttons from Pixel Kitty.
Oh,
so
awesome!
I'm so excited to get it in the mail.
That's great.
I hope it gets here in time for the episode because I'm like sitting in front of my TV screen with my button. I'll like tweet a picture like, "Hey guys, I'm ready."
That's the only way it'll backfire is if everybody hates the episode anyway. Why did we believe in this guy?
Oh no.
I think with this fandom, no matter what happens, they will believe.
Yeah, exactly.
We
Okay.
shall.
I don't necessarily understand this question, but how is this is in quotes, King of the Pegasisters?
Oh, I can explain what that means.
Okay.
I did an interview maybe 2 weeks ago, last week, something like that, for the Bronies for Good live stream.
Oh
thing.
yeah, we love them.
And they asked me, one of the last questions, they asked me if I was a Brony, if I'd consider myself a Brony. And I said, I think I'm more of a Pegasister. And so they said it that I was the king of, if Tara Strong is the queen of the Bronies, that I'm the king of the Pegasisters. And I'm like, cool. I'll be
Well,
the
we give you permission to be the king of the Pegasisters, or at least just the king of the Pegasisters live.
Yeah.
That's two.
That's what that means.
King of
Okay.
Pegasisters Live.
Yeah.
And then this question will only make sense if you're a fan of Arrested Development. It's not even a question.
I've
Steve
never
Holt.
seen Arrested Development.
Oh my gosh. You watch so much TV and you've never
I know.
seen
I'm desperate to see it. I've got all the DVDs.
it. Okay, watch it.
I haven't sat down and watched it.
It took my boyfriend 2 months to get me to watch it just because he was like, you love it. And I'm like, no, I won't. So I finally watched it and I cannot stop.
I've heard such good things about it. I really want to see it.
Well,
I
if you
haven't-
start it, what's really cool is I heard either in May or March that Netflix is putting out all of season 4, which is 5 years after season 3 and like what happened all at once on Netflix.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Yeah, so maybe wait until season 4 is out. Then you can
And
just
I've
blow
been-
through it all.
I keep hearing all this stuff about how they're doing an Arrested Development movie.
Ooh.
I don't know if that's true or
Okay.
not, but I've heard a lot of stuff about that. There's so much good television right now. I really think we're in a golden age.
Golden age of TV.
Absolutely. Do you guys ever see Friday Night Lights?
Yes.
I
feel-
love
I'm
that
sorry,
show.
I say no. I watched too many
Awesome.
cartoons. So wait, what is it about?
Friday Night Lights. Well, it's kind of about a high school football coach, but it's not really. It's about there was a movie called Friday Night Lights about a Texas high school football team. That's one of the
Okay.
best sports movies I've ever seen. And
Oh, it
then,
made me cry.
Yeah, they made a show out of it, but it's not really about football at all. It's just about really good characters and it's just awesome. Anyhow, that's what I'm watching that now.
Oh, okay. Sondra, is that the show you had me watch when I was over there?
No,
Oh,
I don't think so.
there was like I remember. I don't want to say what the episode is about, but I remember you pulled up your laptop and we were watching some episode with there was a coach in a football team. So I don't know.
Maybe
I think that's what Eric made you watch. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's what Eric made me watch. He's
That
like,
is not it.
Okay, I don't know. That was my guess.
Oh,
Nice guess.
Can I throw this in? Because I just saw a tweet from Lyra Reyes, who's the guy who identified you in the picture.
Yeah.
I have to give credit where it's due.
Lyra, if you're in the chatty box, hi.
Hi, thank you for uniting us.
So anyhow, no, I have not seen Arrested Development, but I will soon.
Good. I want a tweet from you as soon as you realize how awesome it is.
There's only 3 seasons.
It doesn't matter.
No, I mean, that's good. That means I can watch it fast.
Oh, yeah.
No, you can't. You'll watch it like 100 times. It's one of those shows where they'll put like little things that are going to happen in the end of the episode. So when you rewatch it, you're like, oh my gosh, they were talking about what's going to happen later.
I love that. I
That's
love that.
Yeah.
You're, oh my gosh, you're going to love it.
Stuff that
I'm
rewards,
so excited for you.
I love stuff that rewards like multiple viewings where you get like a whole nother layer the second time you watch it. I love that.
Oh yeah, I'm on like the 3rd time because first I started watching it with my boyfriend, then my sister, and now my mom loves it.
Oh, very cool. I got to watch it. I just got to get on it.
Yeah, it's really good. Okay, so this was another fan question. Referring to the secret of my excess, can dragons only grow via greed, or can they grow up naturally? Or is this unknown?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm qualified to answer that. The only episode I did on that subject is Secret of My Excess, and in that case, it was greed.
Most dragons are mean, so I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah. Maybe.
Well, that's the thing is the greedier it fed on itself. The greedier Spike got, the more beast-like he got, and meaner he got, which is kind of sad. Then you want him to stay a baby dragon forever.
Yeah, that is.
Well, maybe he will stay a baby dragon unless he gets greedy.
There you go. Control his greed, and he'll stay cute little Spike forever.
I
don't know. I mean, in that question, you'd have to go to. I think Megan and Jason. You'd have to go to the big picture people.
Yeah, I will get the what's in the bag question answered. At Equestria LA, I forgot to ask because I was so like, oh my gosh, I'm here, oh my gosh.
We were like,
I want that answer. I might tweet her. How about you tweet her because I bet she'll respond to you.
Should I?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Could you?
Right now.
Can you tell her Pegasisters Live would really like to know if you like the movie 7?
Oh my gosh. But yeah, so another fan question here was what was the idea behind writing the episode Luna Eclipse?
Hold on a second, let me finish. I can't multitask.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, that's fine. I'll read what the chatty box is saying.
What the hell was that episode called? It's called
Party at One.
Party One, right. Okay, thanks.
It's like all my parties. I get to be schizophrenic and have lots of friends.
I've got a lot of party ones.
Okay, tweeted. What did you ask?
Oh my gosh.
Thank you.
Oh yeah. I asked what was the one of the fan questions. What was the idea behind writing the episode Luna Eclipse?
Oh, okay. See, that was another case where like I got called in from a story meeting and I went in, and that's where Lauren said, "Okay, you're doing the episode where Luna comes back." And I said, "Okay." You know, it wasn't my choice.
Well, you got a good episode then.
I know. I got really lucky. I was like, "Oh, cool." You know, this is mythology kind of thing. So I went back to when I heard that's what I was doing. I went back and I was like, I gotta hear Luna's voice and know what she's all about. So I watched the pilot again, and I was like, oh my god, that's it. She has like 2 lines. There's nothing there, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So when we went for the meeting, Lauren had this kind of vague idea that she wanted. Have you guys ever seen Parks and Rec?
Might have.
The TV show with what's her name, Amy Poehler.
Yes.
Anyhow, there's a character on that show. I'd never seen it either, but there was a character on the show that Lauren thought was really funny. That she wanted to sort of base Luna on a little bit. And so I watched a bunch of Parks and Rec, and I did an entire draft of the script where she was in that vein. But then it, I think it was Hasbro actually whose idea it was to make it more like she's just old fashioned. Like she's, once we changed it, to me, it was the sort of thing like where the guy gets out of prison and doesn't know how to work a cell phone. You know what I mean? Like he's been away for so long. He looks at the phone and he's like, I don't know how to work this. It's the same with Luna. She's been in prison on the moon for so long. Yeah, she doesn't know that. She doesn't know that the royal candlelight reading. She doesn't know you don't do that anymore, and she doesn't know.
Like
all
not
the old
to be complete royalty.
Yeah. So she kind of changed into that. Like she reverted back to how she was before she went to the moon. And that led to, and then it was like a totally different kind of thing with funny stuff about her anachronisms, like that kind of thing. So
yeah, I really like the way.
And they wanted to do, before the meeting, Lauren wanted to do a Halloween episode, like what's the pony's version of Halloween? And so we came up with Nightmare Night, and then, well, it's a natural fit to put Luna in that, so that was kind of the idea.
I love holiday episodes. I think Halloween episodes of anything are my favorite.
Yeah, and it's like something you got to do, you got to...
I know, I get excited for October, and my little sister is an October baby, so she gets all excited, and I was like, are you ready to go out on Nightmare Night? She's like, I'm going to have nightmares outside? And I'm like, no, from ponies, Marnie.
You got to dress her up like Star Swirl the Bearded.
Oh my god.
Totally want to. Her and Lucy were both Cinderella last year.
Yeah,
both of them?
Yeah, they're both Cinderella.
Coincidentally. And I told my sister, and I'm like, Lucy's going to be Cinderella. We're going to be twins!
I think the next Halloween, or Nightmare Night, I want to dress Lucy up as a pony. Her favorite pony is Pinkie Pie, so...
hard to argue.
Right? Yeah, it's... When you've got just, like, all these little girls in your family, it's like, oh, I gotta do it. But, yeah, anyways, so next episode in the fan questions, sorry,
Okay, this is, about the Keymark Crusader Chronicle one.
Oh, yeah, I see
Yes.
that.
How do you handle structuring and writing episodes with multiple plot threads?
It's easier on My Little Pony because it's a half an hour long. I've worked on shows that are, like SpongeBob is 2 episodes per half hour.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really difficult to do in a situation like that. There's just not enough time. Cutie Mark Chronicles was difficult because, like I said, you usually start the episode with what are the plot points, what are the cliffhangers. And in that one, the first cliffhanger is kind of, it's like a fake cliffhanger. It's like Fluttershy falling out of the cloud, but nobody in the world thinks anything's going to happen to her. So it's sort of a cheat, but it's the nature of having an episode where you're just telling 6 different stories. There's just no way to do a traditional 3-act structure. So we had to find like a fake cliffhanger. But that one was really hard. In fact, I think the vast majority of episodes I've written, with a couple of exceptions, it's been really hard to figure out how to structure it in a half an hour. There's just a lot to do. There's a lot of 6 main characters is a lot. If you look at other animated shows.
Oh, yeah, I definitely agree.
I don't think a lot of them have that many main characters. Not to mention all the secondary characters that you want to
I can only think of Rugrats with that many characters, but...
Yeah, it's pretty rare.
They're babies.
Yeah.
Most shows are usually like 1, 2, or 3 main characters and then a lot of secondary characters. But this is 6 main characters and then 12 secondary characters and then villains and it's a lot of
Do you have a favorite villain?
Probably Discord.
Yeah. Can't deny that.
He's just super fun.
The creepiest villain for me though would have to be Chrysalis. She scared me.
Yeah, super creepy. Even the design is creepy.
Yeah, oh my god.
Oh yeah.
I could definitely, when I first saw her, like when she first kind of made her appearance, I don't know what it was, like the animation, it definitely like came off in a Powerpuff Girl kind of way.
Oh yeah.
Maybe it was just me. I was like, oh man, this is so cool.
No, you're right. And the fight scene for sure was Powerpuff Girls.
Yeah.
I had that
Definitely.
vibe. Absolutely.
Chattybox says Sombra is best villain, and I say Queen Sondra is best villain. I've taken control of that name.
So out of the Pegasisters live, are you the villain?
I
that
guess
okay?
so. I always get a really graspy voice, like half the time, so people make me say things that Raven from Teen Titans says, and it's not fun trying to mimic Tara Strong. It's intimidating and weird.
I'm sure she
Just
is.
like I met her at Comic-Con, and she gave a shout out to my bronies on YouTube, and she made me sing the Twilight Licious song first.
Really?
In front of a bunch of people, yes.
Oh God.
That is
She was
so
like, I'll
funny.
do this for you, but you gotta do one thing for me.
I would be too like embarrassed. I'd be like, okay, I gotta go.
Oh, I almost started crying. Like when I saw her, I'm like, I love you. Timmy Turner was the first crush I ever had.
Mine too.
Hilarious.
Yeah, that's how Emily and I bonded. She lives in Ohio, I live in California, but we both had huge crushes on Timmy Turner.
That's hilarious. That's a good thing to find out. Sure, that's nice for Tara too.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm. Okay, this question is actually a pretty good one. Your fans really write good questions, and everyone who wrote back had that little "I believe in M.A. Larson" pin on their picture.
That's so fun.
I've actually never heard this before, but in the past, your agent noted that. Oh, in the past, your agent wanted you to use a pseudonym
Yes.
when you were being credited for My Little Pony to not muddy your past work with the, in quotes, boy shows.
Right.
Has that changed since the show has a wild and broad fan base and success?
Well, it's changed in that I like it better. Well, here's what happened is I got hired on Pony and Symbionic Titan, which is a show on Cartoon Network.
Okay.
I got hired on those at the same time, and Symbionic Titan was the guy who created Dexter's Laboratory, and
Oh my gosh.
he did Clone Wars.
Ooh, what does this button do? I'm sorry.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
And when I found out the dad was Johnny Bravo, I almost had a heart attack.
There's so many of those situations where the same voice actor, you don't
Oh, I know.
realize.
I go through IMDb and I'm like, wait,
Yep.
Nathan Drake, what? You're invading my Batman video games?
You keep seeing the same people. It's true.
Yeah, it's weird. I love it though.
So anyhow, this guy, he created big time shows, and this was his new show, and it was a big action show, and it was a really cool show. The premise was these three kids from a planet deep in the universe. The planet is like under attack, and they send the princess away to save her with a guy and a robot, and the guy's like her bodyguard. And so the three of them end up on Earth, and they have to blend into a high school. He wanted it to be like a John Hughes, like 16 Candles kind of thing, but with aliens, basically, and one of them's a robot. So it's got a really funny high school vibe to it, but with a lot of action, because like the other aliens would come after them and things. Well, anyhow, I was sure, and so was my agent, when I got these two jobs, that was going to be the big success.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's like, you can't use your real name on My Little Pony because then it'll dilute your action. Most of my credits at that point were boys shows anyways, like action shows. And then lo and behold, Symbionic Titan got canceled after like one season, and My Little Pony turned into this thing where Russian guys are sitting around singing Winter Wrap Up.
I don't think anyone wants My Little Ponies to ever end.
Yeah, so now I'm like, hey, I'm the guy from My Little Pony, not Symbionic Titan.
Mm-hmm.
And I like it better. Like, I never particularly liked my name anyways, so MA is kind of cool with me. So I changed my IMDb page to say that, and I got a book coming out next year, and it's going to be under that MA. I just like it better.
You want to plug your book?
Yeah, it's hard to plug because I don't have a title. But
Titleless by M.A. Larson.
it's entitled. It's to be titled, but I got a release date. It's going to come out next May.
Ooh.
Next May, I'm going to get it, and I'm going to read it, and I'm going to review it on the show.
Oh, awesome.
Ooh, that sounds like really
I
cool.
have no idea what it's going to be about, but I will read it.
I really think Bronies will enjoy it because it has a lot in common with My Little Pony. It's not about horses, but it's about
Good,
a group.
'cause real horses terrify me.
It's about a group of girls who are friends, and they go to this. It takes place in like a Grimm's fairy tale kind of world, and the whole idea is that witches are sort of taking over, and the only thing that can stop them is princesses.
Oh.
So it's like a war between witches and princesses, and it's about these girls who go to this boot camp to learn to become princesses.
That sounds... I'm going to bleep myself without actually saying anything. Awesome.
I hope so.
I'm not kidding. I'm not just saying that to suck up. That sounds awesome.
But it has a lot in common with My Little Pony because it's like got a core group of girls, and it has, I hope it has that same sort of kindness at its heart. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of my favorite things about My Little Pony is it's not ironic and it's not like, cynical.
Well, witches are like the only evil things that terrify me. They have taught me to be afraid of old people. And
if you read any of the,
Disney
if you read the real Grimm's fairy tales, not the Disney version, but like,
I have read them.
They're dark, man. They're like really dark. They're scary.
I know. To fit in the shoe first.
Yes, exactly. So that's what I went with. I tried to go back.
I can't get into detail about that.
Yes. But that's what I went with. I tried to get away from the Disney version of it and try to go back to the Grimm's version where it was legitimately scary. So it's supposed to be kind of like the vibe of Harry Potter, like the first ones before they got really dark. So it's sort of that age, you know what I mean? It's like, it's not quite, well, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, that's really cool.
I'm excited for that.
I'm very excited.
I love books. I mostly read Stephen King.
Yeah, Stephen King's awesome.
Yes, he is. Even if you've seen a picture of his house, he has, like, gargoyles on it. Like,
I have not seen that. That's awesome, though.
He lives in Maine, and he bases all of his books in Maine.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, I'm reading Cell, which is a zombie one by him. It's kind of zombie. You answer your cell phone, you go crazy, and yeah.
What's it called?
Cell. Just like cell phone.
Oh, Cell.
It's really good.
Huh.
This is like my third time reading it.
He's got he had a huge book called Under the Dome that they've just turned into a miniseries.
I know, my mom was telling me about that. She is so stoked.
I just saw a commercial for it at the Super Bowl.
Ah!
Oh, was there a commercial for it?
It's not like, it's like a fake, it's like a teaser. They don't really show much, but it's Under the Dome by Stephen King.
Oh yeah, that book is wicked. You touch the dome, you die.
Wow.
That's pretty intense.
Don't touch it. No touching. That's the line from Arrested Development. You'll get that after the first episode. No touching, no touching.
I think, we just, that was our last question here.
Cool.
Yeah,
we'd love to thank you for being here. You're so
Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. And thanks to everybody out there.
I'm really glad you didn't notice how much I was stalking you at Equestria LA, but I know.
Yes.
Not noticeable.
Yeah,
Emily should tweet you the picture. We call it the Larson stare.
Yeah. Yeah, we call it the Larson stare.
You like Applejack so much, Emily stresses Applejack.
See, now I'm going to watch out for you at Vegas, and I'll know if you're looking at me.
Oh my gosh, yes.
You will. It's the creepiest stare ever. I have huge eyes, and I just blink and stare. And then I wave, like,
it's like
the most awkward wave. It's like slow motion beauty pageant wave.
Hilarious.
Yeah, I was so nervous. I'm like, you're going to, like, creep him out, and he's never going to talk to us.
Stop it. This is not okay. You can't treat people like this.
I was like in a daze. I was having so much fun.
Same here. That's why when she was like, look, it's M.A. Larson, and I'm looking for a girl named Emily, and I'm like, why are you, what? You were at a Starbucks, by the way.
That's the other thing I like about using my initials is I like that some people think I'm a girl. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's great.
That's funny. But yeah, I think everyone's going to start calling you M. Alicorn Larson.
M. Alicorn Larson.
Yeah. Your name for your book.
I have to say, I love your tweets that you made after it was announced, basically.
I was just in shock. I was like, what the hell just happened?
I was getting the biggest kick out of it, like the one about the dog food or whatever. Why does this keep happening?
I've gotten so much funny like art and gifs and stuff sent my way.
Oh gosh,
After that,
so-
like really funny stuff.
bronies and art just go hand in hand.
If you haven't seen the Oprah one, you got to check it out. It's
do.
awesome.
Wait, what is it?
I need to look at that.
In fact, I'll tweet it. No,
Oh
if I
yeah,
can
okay.
find it.
Okay, so while he tweets that, let's say bye to the chatty box.
Oh yeah, so Chattybox, thank you guys for tuning in tonight.
Hi, everybody.
Yeah, so thank you, Larson, for coming on here and
Drink
talking
some
with
Red
us.
Bull, you'll get wings. You'll also grow a horn because you've been listening to the Alicorn King. Or the King of the Pegasisters.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah,
Pegasus
Pegasisters
the
Black.
King. I
Yes.
can't find it. Somebody will tweet it. Somebody will be listening to this and will tweet it.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, that's fine. But yeah, so thank you again.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, so we'll talk to you later, and bye,
Hopefully I'll
Chattybox.
see you in Vegas.
We are very proud to have you as our king.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, and we'll
All right,
see
I'll talk to
you
you
in
later.
Vegas.
So
Yes.
bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye, chatty box.
All right, bye, Chattybox. Love you.
Mwah!